Today's video is going to be a cozy catch-up. It's been a while since the last one, and there's a few desk things that I have been meaning to do, so I thought I could just wait till I had a chance to turn on the camera and we could do those things together. I just made myself a cup of coffee, and I've got a few treats from Australia. My very favorite licorice twists covered in dark chocolate. I have a few updates that I want to go over with you today. Quick update on InCoWriMo. Then I want to switch around some of the inserts in a couple of my traveler's notebooks. I want to chat about this beautiful leather MeePlus planner that is to my left. If there's time, I will give you a very quick update on how things are going with my Midori Hibino, but I will be sharing a more in-depth update or flip through in early February. I just want to spend at least a month in the book before I share any updates, so look out for that if you're curious for an update. I think that's all we're going to have time for, so let's just get right into it. So I participated in InCoWriMo for the first time in 2024, and I really enjoyed it. It is quite an undertaking, but I honestly just had the best time. For this year, 2026, I am going to set up my sign-up sheet just like I did in the last few years. That should be live by the time this video goes live. So you can head over to my description to grab the link, and you can sign up to receive a letter from me. I will try to send as many letters as I can, but I can't promise that I'm going to be able to send a letter to everyone that signs up. At the very least, I'm going to commit to sending 28 letters. The form will just ask you for your name, your address, and a few questions just to help me get to know you better. And then I will send you a letter, and about a month after InCoWriMo ends, I will delete all of your addresses. There's no cost to join. There's no catch. It's just an opportunity for me to get to know you and send some happy mail. I hope you will join me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. I have been thinking about switching things around in these two TNs. They are still, at the moment, my favorite traveler's notebook covers. This one is the olive green with some extra customizations that I got done at the Superior Labor in Kirishiki. And this was in October of 2024. And then this is the Love and Trip red traveler's notebook cover that I picked up last year. And I was initially using this as my Artist Way book. So I had a bunch of notes and anything that was kind of related to the Artist Way when I completed the program alongside Leanne from Leanne Likes last year. And then I had a book for morning pages, and this TN currently is my kind of like overflow memory keeper. So last year I had 2 inserts that were dedicated to memory keeping. So I had one that was a vertical weekly that I was doing like weekly memory keeping in, and I have since moved that into my Hobonichi weeks. And then I ended up having this extra insert, which is just for additional, I guess, overflow. So if I collect a lot of ephemera around a certain event, then I will add it into here. And I also occasionally do ink swatches in here whenever I feel like it, I guess. So I have a feeling that this is going to be quite a fluffy insert when I'm done with it. This second one here is my sticker release insert. And then surrounding that, I also have this plastic traveler's notebook folder. So there's a zipper pouch on the back, and then there's like this folder on the front. So what I'm thinking about doing is very simple, but I'm just thinking about swapping around the inserts. And the reason why is because this one has a pen loop in it, and when I'm doing my long form journaling, I think it's nice to be able to keep whatever pen I'm using in this pen loop. And this one doesn't. Something that I always forget to mention whenever I show my traveler's notebooks is I know that you can buy traveler's notebook branded elastics that help you connect your inserts, but I have been for the longest time just using like regular elastics that I can just get from produce from the grocery store. I haven't had any issues using these types of elastics. This is a branded traveler's notebook elastic, and it is a nice color, but if you are just getting into traveler's notebooks and you are feeling overwhelmed by all the accessories that you need to buy, I just wanted to say that you definitely can get away with not buying the Traveler's Notebook branded elastics. Okay, so I think I'm gonna move these over. This was an A5 Stalogy that I cut down to fit a traveler's notebook, and I really loved this red. I'm gonna be sad to say goodbye, but this insert is done, and I am gonna actually just go ahead and add a label. This is volume 3 of my morning pages. Okay, so that's done. So I'm going to put this away. But this was such a great book, and I really love this red color, so I am going to miss it, but I can always get another one. And this insert I started when I was on my trip, and I'm actually already more than halfway done. So I haven't even had a chance to decorate the cover yet. Part of me likes that I just jump in without worrying too much about the cover, but then I do feel sad sometimes when I don't end up decorating it until I'm finished it, so I can't really enjoy it as much. So for now, I'm going to move these into here. So I think I'll start with this plastic insert. And I don't need 2 elastics. So what I do sometimes is I will take one of these elastics and I will just put it in this zippered pouch until I need it. And then I will connect these 2. Okay, so this is going to be my memory keeper extension, I guess. So I might eventually change the charms. I think this little Japanese coin has kind of frayed the elastic a little bit, and I don't love that. So that's something I'm going to try to fix in the future, but I'm going to leave that for now. Okay, and then for this one, I'm going to use this elastic and I don't really want to have this be like the artist's way anymore because I didn't really identify with the program as much as I maybe had hoped I would. So I'm just going to cut it off and I'm going to call it the artist. And I'm going to take off way. I'm going to now put this in here. And I think it's okay to maybe leave some of these washi tapes here. If I were to grab, say, a pen, this is my Pilot Customs, my favorite journaling pen, then I find that this fits. It's a little tight, but it does fit. So now, if I want to do some journaling, then I can do that with this one. So I can continue kind of taking this out with me. And there are my 2 TNs. So I picked up these stickers at a tourist shop in Hong Kong. I think it could be fun to choose some of these stickers. So many fun. I love the colors in these stickers. Okay, maybe I will just add some stickers on now and not overthink it. Okay. I might add more later, but I'm glad that I finally added something to the cover, since this was a book that I broke into when I was in Hong Kong, and I think I'll see if I have any Australian stickers that I can add here too, just to balance out the fact that this was an insert that I started when I was in Hong Kong and Perth, Australia. That's all that I wanted to do with my TNs. I think it'll be really nice to just have a bit of a change, and I honestly kind of missed journaling in here, so I'm kind of happy that I'm going to be using this again for long form journaling. And I also really love this book, so I'm glad I still have a good use for this. I actually do really enjoy using this for ink swatching, and I did recently get a ton of ink samples, so I will be pulling this out again soon, I'm sure. Next, I want to talk about this gorgeous book in front of me. I received this before my trip, and I did film an unboxing, so I'm going to insert that footage right now, and then I will meet you back here. I have a very, very exciting package in front of me, and it has been sitting on my coffee table for the last few days. I've been waiting for the right moment to open it up. I wanted to wait until it was bright outside so that I could really appreciate the colors of the item that's in here. And I also had to wait until I was finished up with a really big work project. So this is an item that was gifted to me. This is a MeePlus leather cover. It is my first rings system that I've ever tried as an adult. I did have a little plastic ring system when I was in high school, and I'll try to dig that out if I can find it, but I've never really been a big fan of rings, but I have been a big fan of this style of leather cover with just how slim it is and how beautiful it is. I was first really interested in it when Leanne talked about her plotter earlier this year and mentioned that she uses it for logging her inks. And then I recently saw that Moonlit Journal got a cover like this and is now using it as an ink log. But I actually have another idea for it that I'm equally excited about. So I can't wait to open it up. Before I do, I also just wanted to say, first of all, a big thank you to MeePlus for reaching out and giving me this opportunity. I know that quite a few creators have been talking about this brand, and I honestly just feel so lucky that I also have an opportunity to try this out and look at it. I think I'm talking kind of fast because I'm really excited. And I actually ordered this quite some time ago, and MeePlus reached out after a few weeks to say that the original cover that they had made for me didn't meet their quality standards, so they ended up remaking it and sending it later. So I just wanted to say that I was really impressed about their quality check. I mean, for something that was gifted to me, I would have been happy with any cover, whether it was imperfect or not. But the fact that they did have that extra quality check is something that I really appreciate. So even though this took a little longer than the original estimated timeline, I'm just really happy that they took the time and care to want to send me something that they're proud of. So let's open this up and take a look. Okay. So I'll just take the items out of the package and then we can kind of look at things one by one. Okay, so I think the first thing that we will look at are these inserts. And as you can see from the inserts, I guess you can guess what size I got for the cover, but these are A5 refills, so I'm curious to see what they included for me. Okay, so it looks like... Cool, okay, so it looks like there are 4 sets of inserts. This looks like just plain paper, which I'm really excited about because these will be great for printing things. Then there are these really cute, I don't know what the millimeter is, but these look really small. I wonder if these are, yeah, I'm not sure, but they have these really lovely tiny grids, which I love. So I'm really excited about these ones. So I guess these are... Oh, cool. They're kind of like fold-out inserts, which is really cool, actually. I think it would be really cool if I were able to print on this, to be able to have something that kind of spans all the way out. So this is really neat. I think this is cream paper, so this is really exciting. Actually, I think this would be really cool as well for doing ink samples. Oh, I'm getting really excited now. Okay. Loving this one, and I have a ton of them, which is amazing. And then I have these this grid. This looks a little bigger, so maybe this is 4 millimeters, and I think this is, yeah, this is more cream paper. This actually feels pretty thick. I'm not sure what the GSM is on this paper, but it definitely feels a little more substantial compared to, say, like Hobonichi paper. This is very light, this paper. Okay, and this is Crenna paper. So these two are very thin. So they sent me this dot grid, these blank pages, this kind of like cream fold out, and this Mini Joy graph paper. I really like this. I love that this is cream. I do kind of wish that this was a little thinner, kind of like this Crenna paper. Okay, so the next things are this, which I believe is, after watching many unboxing videos, I think this is a ring protector, and I guess this kind of gives away what color I ended up choosing for my cover. And then I also have this cover, which comes with the band. And oh, it looks like I have a little, they added a little charm with my initial. So there's an A there. That's so cute. And this is the pen holder. And after watching a few videos, I did choose the large pen holder. So hopefully this will fit the majority of my pens. And now we have the thing that obviously I'm the most excited for. I can't believe that I just had this sitting on my coffee table for almost a week. I really wanted to open it sooner, but I just didn't have an opportunity during the day. We were sprinting towards a deadline, and then in the evenings I see clients, and so I really just didn't have time, and I wanted to savor this moment and ideally share it with you, so I wanted to wait for an opportunity to do this during the day. So I'm a very impatient person, and I'm really impressed that I waited this long, but it was torture to stare at this. So let's take a look at it. All right, so it comes in this beautiful dust bag. Wow, okay. This feels incredible. Oh, and it smells so... This is beautiful. So actually, now that I'm seeing this next to my utility pouch, I'm really glad I chose this color. I was torn between this and the chestnut color on their website. And ultimately, I went with I think this is the Cognac, and I went with this one because I really wanted to see it patina. I love to see when things are used and well worn, and Laura from MeePlus told me that this one would show a much more dramatic change. And so even though I knew that it was going to start off quite bright and orangey, seeing this in person, I actually don't mind this color at all. And as it darkens, I think I'm just going to love it even more. So I feel so relieved that I chose this color because I was agonizing over whether I wanted this one or the chestnut. But this is so beautiful. It has this like kind of rough texture. It's not exactly suede like the Camel Traveler's Notebook. So as a comparison, this is my Camel Traveler's Notebook. This is one of the older covers. I got this one several years ago, and I don't usually take it out of my house. But this is what the Camel looks like, just in case you're curious. This is much more orangey. And it's not too dissimilar to, I think, what this used to look like before it started to get all this patina. And it honestly, it just smells, it smells so good. Okay. And I picked the brass spine, which is absolutely stunning against this color. And I think being able to choose the spine is one of the primary reasons why I was more excited about this cover. Clearly, I really love brass, and so the fact that you could customize this was really exciting for me. And it lays so flat when I open it up. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I guess sometimes when leather is on the thicker side, it can, like, I thought it would be maybe a bit more like this, but it just lays perfectly flat. These rings are really tiny. I have next to no experience with like rings in general. These are the gold option. And when I had my little ring system when I was in high school, I actually really disliked when you were trying to write on this page, having your hand kind of knock against the rings. And so I haven't really ever been tempted by a ring system, except for the fact that I can see the value in being able to switch pages around. And while I don't think that is what would work for me from a planning system, because I realized that I'm very much like a bound book planner, I did really like it for something like an ink log when you want to maybe move things around. And I'm actually planning on using this binder as a place to hold my workshop notes. And so in my previous videos, I mentioned that I ran a workshop recently at Wonder Pens, and the plan is to do more workshops in 2026. And as someone who is a very nervous presenter, I like to have all my information with me to be accessible when I'm actually running a workshop or even when I'm doing a presentation. And as I develop workshops, I may want to rerun certain workshops. And I think having a sort of archive of my speaking notes for different workshops that I'm running is going to be really helpful for me personally. I know as well, Helena from Tiny Tiger Collective uses a ring system as a commonplace book, which I think is such a fun idea. And I could totally see myself maybe doing something like that in the future as well. I'm going to be honest with you. This is so lush and beautiful that I could see myself in the future coming up with excuses to use this binder more than just as a workshop notes binder, because this thing is so stunning and I want to use this enough that I start to get patina on this, because this is so beautiful. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I have seen people, if I hadn't watched videos, I wouldn't have known what to do, but I think this is meant to protect the rings from the papers. So it kind of pops on like this. Okay, that was relatively easy to do. I guess then next I can put this on. And it's amazing like how much you can fit, because if these papers are as thin as they are, and I got the 16 millimeter rings. I got the bigger ones because I have a feeling I'm going to want to use this for more than just workshop stuff. But these rings just open really nicely. Then this is the string. This is lovely. I would say one thing that I would love to see, I don't know if it's possible, is if they offered this band in different colors. Like I would love to see this in like a bright red, or maybe like a different shade of brown, because I just love brown. I feel like the black against the brown is maybe a bit too much of a contrast for me personally. But I think as this patinas and darkens, then it'll feel like less of a contrast. But even something like this color would be lovely as a band. And then let's try a pen in here. And let's see. Oh, that fits perfectly. So this is my Pilot Custom A23, and that just slid right in. So thank you for the tip, Helena. This is great. I'm really glad I went with the larger size. So this is my new beautiful MeePlus. Thank you so much, MeePlus. Hopefully you enjoyed that unboxing. I really like these as well. It's a thicker paper, but if I could have figured it out, I would have wanted to print calendars on here. I still haven't been able to figure it out. If anyone has any tips on how to format calendars, like I'd love to have something like January, February, March, or January, February, March, April, May, June, and then the other 6 months on the back. If anyone knows how to do that, or if you know of any people that have already created something like this that could be printed on a longer paper like this, please let me know. I'd be happy to pay for that formatting. But I would love to be able to have like a full year fold out calendar on this if I could just figure out how to do it. Let's pretend that I was able to figure that out. That's what I would have loved to have as my first page. So in terms of my setup, I wanted to have a calendar. I think if I can't figure out how to print it, then maybe I'll just hand draw it and it'll look messy, but it'll do the trick. And the reason why I think this is a good idea is for longer term projects, I think it's really nice to have an overview of a year, just because things may not be happening on a day-to-day basis, but they may be happening over a longer term. So we did an office makeover last year, and that was the first time that we really planned it out. I tend to be someone who decides to do a change or a makeover on a whim. If I have the motivation and if I happen to have the time, I'll jump right into the project. But the problem with that approach is sometimes those projects take more than a day, and it does end up disrupting my partner's schedule. So I decided to paint the bedroom sometime 2 years ago. And in my mind, I thought I would be able to paint the whole room within a day. I don't know why I thought I could, but maybe we'll blame it on the time blindness. And to make a long story short, it took a week. Just between paint not drying properly and not being able to empty out the room. So I had to kind of move furniture in order to paint certain sides of the room. And so it kind of displaced us, and we had to sleep in the living room for over a week, that kind of thing. So I kind of promised my partner that we would plan things. This is something that I think I would like to have. And as for workshops, I am running workshops on a semi-regular basis. So far, it's looking like I may be doing them on a kind of monthly basis, depending on demand and how things go. And so I thought having a calendar like this would be really helpful in order for me to see when I have workshops coming up. And perhaps in the future, I may have more. I'm not really too sure, but I think it would be really nice just to have an overview like this. So let's pretend that's the first insert. I just wasn't able to figure that out, but I really like the idea of being able to use a fold out for that reason. And then the other idea that I had, but I didn't have the courage to do it yet, is I thought I could take some of my A5 Hobonichi pencil boards and I could punch holes in them and use them as section dividers. I was all set to do it, but then I kind of lost my nerve because I really love the A5 pencil boards that I do have, and the idea of punching holes in them that would be permanent just made me really nervous. So for those of you who are seasoned rings users, what do you do in that situation? Do you do it anyway? Do you get a second one, which seems a little crazy, but I was thinking about it. I'm curious to know how you deal with that, but for now, I have just decided to just hold off and make sure it's actually what I want to do. But I was thinking it could be really fun to have the pencil boards as like a section divider, and I know I'm not the only one who's thought of that, but I had the intention, but not the courage. Then I have my workshop outline. So whenever I run a workshop, and while this is the first workshop that I've done sort of in the stationery space, I have run a lot of workshops in my role as a UX researcher. And this is the same way that I approach my workshops, which is I always have an outline and an estimated amount of time for each activity, and just a brief description or title of the activity, so I know as a facilitator what it's generally about. And then sometimes I have some extra details on the side. And what I really like about this approach is normally when I facilitate, I usually have maybe my laptop open and I'm usually projecting some kind of presentation. Even when I do that, I always print out a hard copy of my speaker's notes because I've had too many scenarios where there's malfunctions or your computer breaks or there's no internet connection or something. And I've just learned the hard way that you can't rely on digital speaker's notes. And so it's just become a habit of mine to always print out a hard copy of a workshop plan if I'm running something. And I find having an outline super helpful in terms of keeping me on track. And then what I have here in pen is anything that comes up when I'm actually running the workshop. So I can make notes and make updates for the next workshop. But what you see in pen here was me marking out the actual time that it should be for each activity. So when I am facilitating something, I tend to get really nervous, and anything that I can do to make myself have to think less when I know I'm already going to be nervous helps. And so even if I know that my first activity should only be 5 to 10 minutes, if I know the workshop starts at 9:30, then it's more helpful for me to know that it should be done by 9:40, if that makes sense. So I always do this just as a little note for myself. I don't know if this is helpful for any of you, but I just find it's a little easier for me to convert everything into the actual time instead of relying on like the next thing should be 10 minutes and then 10 minutes. And then I basically just have my speaker's notes, which are always related to each of these activities. This is another copy of this, but I was able to just take this out of the ring binder. Whenever I had my speaker's notes, I could actually just have this open so that I could always double check, like keep track of where I was in the activity. I like being able to take papers out and just be able to refer to them. So that was really nice. And then as well, I also used one of the cream mini joy papers. I find that this was helpful because it was a little thicker, so easier to write on when I'm just kind of writing fast. I have trouble remembering people's names unless I write them down. And so I usually draw a little table that represents sort of the table that's the table setting. And then I will write down people's names and where they're sitting in order to help me to recall people's names while I'm running the workshop. And then as we were running the workshop, I also used this page to take notes, things that came up that I might want to address in future sessions or future workshops, and also just maybe some follow-ups if I have any that I need to share for the current group or maybe for the future group. This is nice and small, and you can see it's pretty, it's not too floppy. So I was actually able to hold this in just my one hand. This just worked as well as I was hoping it would. I'll share one additional learning. So as you can see here, unfortunately, there were some casualties. I did have some troubles with the printing, and I just wanted to share with you where I landed. So initially, I had my notes using regular like black ink. And as you can probably see here, there was significant bleed through. And I actually reached out to Laura from MeePlus, and Laura recommended that if you do want to print on the thin paper, that this mini joy paper would be better. And I think that is a good option, but I was kind of stubborn and I just loved how thin this paper was. And so I played around with it, and I was able to get the paper to print without too much bleed through. I don't know if you can see that here. I used A5 printer setting just to make sure it printed on this page. And then I used the, I wrote it here. I used the third gray option. So if you imagine that's like black, the darkest color, and then there's a darker gray, and then another like a lighter gray, and then it just keeps going lighter. I kind of played around with the different grayscale, and I found that this third one is what you see here, and that allowed me to print where I could still see it, like maybe not everyone, but I could still read this, even if it was a bit further away. I could still read it, but also there was no bleed through. So if you are using this Spark paper and you want to print on both sides, then I find that printing in gray color seemed to do the trick for me. And I have an inkjet printer, not a laser printer. I'm not sure if that matters, but I wanted to share that anyway. And then here I also have one of my Hobonichi A5 folders. And I was thinking about punching holes and having it be like an attached folder, but again, I did not have the courage to do it. So if you are not precious with your items, then I think that would be nice to have it kind of attached. And then I was thinking you could potentially cut this open. I've seen people do this. You could cut this open on the bottom so it's more like this type of folder, and then you could add your own pockets so that you could turn it into something that's more like this. I decided that I wasn't ready to customize this to that extent, but I also think it could be nice to just have a folder kind of stuck in the back here, and then when you have it closed, I think it would be okay because I sometimes tuck in folders in my traveler's notebook and they stay, they stay in place. The large pen leather holder, and it is a very generous size. So after watching Tiny Tiger Co.'s video, she noted that the small pen holder was quite tight. And so I did decide to go for the large one. And I do have one of my largest pens, my Leonardo Memento Zero Grande 2.0, and it does fit very comfortably in here. No issues. I decided to take one of these Mini Joy pages because I have a few, and I wanted to try to turn it into a folder. What did I do? I kind of folded it here, and then I folded it this way and I cut it so that I could kind of create like a little lip. This is the original side. And I did buy this 3-hole punch. This was what Laura from MeePlus recommended. And you can see it punches holes a little closer to the edge of the paper compared to the pre-punched holes in the MeePlus version. So that's something to keep in mind. But then what I did was, once I had kind of created this like backwards flap, I just took a straight edge and I cut it down until I felt satisfied with this pocket. So if you can imagine, this would be like a little pocket that I could put things into. And for my workshops, I often share a set of stickers of these stationery favorites that I painted and then scanned and turned into stickers. And I also create these little zines as part of my takeaway, so people can take these home. And so my thought was, when I'm bringing it to the workshop, I wanted to have a place where I could kind of store these so they don't get ruined in transit. And I was thinking having some pockets would be a nice way to do that. So I thought we could decorate the back a little bit. And so I've grabbed my very favorite MT washi tape. This is a William Morris design, and this is actually one of my favorite William Morris designs just in general. Like, I have loved this as a wallpaper, and if money were no issue, I would probably wallpaper my entire house in this design. So I tend to use this to kind of decorate my folders and my insert covers. You can see here that I did that in the background here, and I just love it. You think I'd get sick of it by now, but I honestly just really love it. So I thought we could try to do that together. I can show you how I do it because I have had some questions on how I do it. I do have another video where I put together that other folder, but I figured we could just do it again here. And it's not going to be perfect, but I'm not really going for perfection. And I try also to line up the washi so it actually ends up looking kind of just to match up the pattern, kind of like you would with wallpaper. And anything that's extra, I just cut off and I put in my sticker release paper, and I use it. Just use it in my journals. Okay, so I'm gonna slowly flip this over. It's gonna take some regular tape, and I'm going to tape that closed. Oh, I guess I only have this much left. And now we're going to use this and we're going to punch those holes in again. So I'm trying to remember how I did this. Okay, so we're going to start with up here. Okay. And hopefully I got those holes right. It's a little finicky, I've learned. Okay, it's a little tight, and there we go. So we've got our folder here, and this is where I will use it for some of my additional items. So nothing goes to waste. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So it is pretty minimal, kind of a work in progress. If you would like to see more updates, I will definitely share if I figure out this printing thing, if I start to add some more dividers, and I will let you know how this goes at my next workshop. My next workshop is going to be in mid-February. I'm really happy with how this has turned out, and I think the last thing that I wanted to kind of touch on is I found this old necklace that actually broke years ago, so I haven't been able to wear it. But I really love this little compass from the necklace. So I was kind of thinking maybe I could put the compass as part of the charm here, but I'll do that off camera and I'll show you the next time I have an update on my MeePlus. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. Like I said, I know it's simple, but I think there's lots of room to grow and be creative. And I might even use this as well for like home projects, because we do have some coming up. And I just think this is a really great space for long-term stuff. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you have a system like this set up for any of your long-term projects or recurring projects that you think this kind of system would be helpful for. I would love your suggestions if you have any. I'm very new to the world of rings, so I will take all the advice I can get. Okay, this video has gotten so long, so I think I am going to save my Hibino update for its own video, but the very, very quick update for now is that it is going really well. I am having the best time in it, and I will do a proper flip through after I finish January. I think I just want to have a month in here before I share my thoughts, but I will do a flip through and I will show you how I've been using it. But it's just been going really well. That's really the major update. I know I'm still in the honeymoon phase, so we'll see how this changes throughout the year, but right now I am just having the best time in it, and I can't wait to share more details with you in another video. All right, well, if you made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know what you were up to while we hung out today. Let me know if you have any questions on anything you saw. Thank you again to Laura and MeePlus for sending me this absolutely gorgeous cover. I cannot wait to use this more and to see how this patinas over time. I love the details on this so much, and I will share another update in the future. If you have any questions, let me know. Hope you're doing well. Take care, and I'll see you soon in the next video.